Okay, Kendrick, what is it about Austin?
Oh man, just the energy, and it comes from the people. I think my first trip out here was like 2010 when I put out my first few mixtapes, and the people in the city just always showed the loyalty. So I continued to come back, and now I'm here right now.
Yeah, there's real music fans here.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely.
So how did it feel out there tonight? Your first time on our show?
Felt incredible. It's a trip. You go in a show with the mind state. How the songs are going to go, how the crowd is going to react. It gave me a complete different perspective. Once I stepped on that stage, I thought it was going to be more of a intimate type vibe, but it actually turned pretty wild. Felt like I was on a festival run out there.
Yeah, it's still intimate. You know, there's only 1,500 people.
Yeah,
Or so.
but
It
the
feels like a
energy.
lot more energy. In
Yeah,
the house,
the energy was crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. As a kid, we always did log in. I'm sure you guys too. Log in journals. I was in first grade, and I was just fascinated by telling how my day started, how yesterday went, and it was one particular word that I said in first grade. It was the word audacity, and my teacher, she pulled me to the corner and said, "You know what that means?" And I told her definition, and she was like, "You're a wordsmith. You may not know it, but you're in love with words." And ever since that moment, I just loved to write. That was always been my favorite course in school, English and literature. And I excelled to that and made that transform to poetry.
A lot of people have a bad experience with school, but sometimes, you know, all it takes is one good teacher or just one
Yeah.
inspiration moment like that.
Definitely,
Make a
definitely.
difference.
And I wish I could remember her name. I think I'm going to go back to my elementary and pull up some old files. She was a really, really good teacher. She was very animated. And I remember she used to act like these characters and these monsters and, cartoon characters. But it allowed me, what she did allowed me to explore my own imagination and depth with what was going on outside of my community.
When you make music, or when you write a song or make a record, do you think about how it's going to affect people, the impact that it could have?
Yeah, I do it now. Prior to me making this album, prior to a lot of my new music, most of the records were just personal. And for me, it was more of a selfish type of thing until I seen that people out here actually connect with it just as deep or even more than me writing it. So now I go into the aspect of how can I make something that's personal for me, but also personal for the person that's listening to it. So when I go in and make a record like that, To Pimp a Butterfly, um, I go in with the mind state that it has to connect, not only for me, not only for my culture, but other walks of life and people around the world. And I think it did just that. I said this yesterday at a show. Um, Within 6 months, my life had did a complete 360. Um, what I used to know and where I'm from and what I knew about myself, um, it went all the way to a whole nother world when I started traveling. So I had to learn and understand things. I had to learn how to converse with different type of people and different walks of life and how to respect their culture, and how to communicate. And during that process, I made the album, and it was therapy for me because in these certain circumstances of trying to communicate, you get a little bit insecure. You start doubting yourself. You start wondering why you're here. Why are you in this position? To make music, and I just put them ideas all down. From my perspective, from a world perspective, and what was going on around me. It wasn't just hip hop played in my house. It was a lot of soul, a lot of funk, a lot of blues, R&B. Um, every day almost, in the household. And I think that gave me the idea to explore these sounds now and go back to these different ranges of music and, make little tweaks and make them to my own niche in my album. So I got to give that honor to my moms and pops, man. They played a lot of good music in the house.
And you're not afraid to experiment or
No.
shake things up.
Mm-mm, not at all.
So where do you think you go from here, speaking of which?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I need a little bit more experience with the world and see um, what I come up with next due to experience. Everything comes from some type of emotion, some type of feeling, from things I see, things I've done, the people I meet. So that's an exciting part for me to know what's next and where I go from here.